at the Centrum, WAVC Cable Channel 2 presents Two About Town with Laura Bates. For a look into the sights, sounds, and happenings of the people in Cambridge and Guernsey County, here's Laura and her guests.
Hello, I'm Laura Bates, and that's the way we began every show on Two About Town. We started on October 18th, 1981, and our last show, I believe, was May 30th, 1994, something like that. So I retired, or at least I thought I had retired, but you've seen me off and on over the years, and I really do enjoy coming back and talking to the folks here in the Cambridge area. On today's program, you're going to meet all kinds of friends and neighbors who shared that time with us, and I think you're going to find that they too have had some good experiences over the years. We've had good times and bad times, but life has been good, I think, to all of us. And so I invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy 30 years of Two About Town.
It's the Two About Town 30th Anniversary Special. Sponsored by Orm Hardware, Scott Ogle Realty, Century 21, Southeastern Med, Cambridge Classic Ford, Buckeye Tire, WB Green Insurance, Anchors Appliance Center, Millfair Linoleum and Carpet, and Dunning Motor Sales.
So follow your instinct and take a second look at Bruni Lamarca Motors. As you're driving up and down the parkway, it's just a natural reaction to look over at the Bruni Lamarca lot. A stretch of beautiful new cars like the Olds, Pontiac, Buick, and Cadillac, and a long line of good quality used cars too. So don't feel you're any different from anyone else. Everybody steals a quick look as they're driving on Southgate Parkway. Who can resist it? Bruni Lamarca Motors, Cambridge.
Why ruin your good investment in food with a dull knife? Get a super sharp edge on all your kitchen knives at Orm Hardware. Orm's Sharpening Center can also sharpen chainsaw chains, circular saw blades, scissors, carbide blades, hand saws, anything and everything that has an edge. Get the point? For professional sharpening of your valuable kitchen knives and tools, visit Orm Hardware, 134 North 11th Street, Cambridge. Open 8 to 8 daily and Saturday 8 to 5 for all your hardware needs.
Once you can depend on your parents for daily care and comfort, but where do you turn to now that they need that same kind of round-the-clock attention? At the Guernsey Memorial Hospital Skilled Nursing Facility, in a reassuring and home-like atmosphere, we provide individualized care that's tailored to each resident's medical condition. It's an approach that adequately reflects our commitment to excellence. Our skilled nursing facility offers a full range of comprehensive rehabilitation services, from physical and occupational therapy to social services and pastoral care. Our residents also enjoy conveniences such as daily activities, outdoor entertainment, and an unrestricted visitation policy. The Guernsey Memorial Skilled Nursing Facility staff welcomes your inquiries because together we can plan quality care for those who deserve it the most. A caring commitment for our friends and neighbors, Guernsey Memorial Hospital.
Here at Century 21, Gibson Turner & Associate, we're easily located downtown on the corner of South 9th Street and Turner Avenue. Hi, I'm Chris Gibson Turner, broker-owner. Here are our families, the Marlatt family, the Rawlings family, Joe and Donna Oliver. Here's my family, Howard Dennis, Janet Rockwell, Mary Ann Morris, our secretary, and now meet future realtors of the next century. From all of us here at Century 21.
That's where we were then. This is where we are now. Thank you, Laura, for 30 wonderful years.
Orm Hardware, the leading hardware in the area, wants to invite you to visit one of their many locations to help with your next project. Orm's has everything you'd expect from a full-service hardware store, with all sizes of stainless steel nuts and bolts, a large variety of automotive accessories, polishes and waxes, a terrific selection of power tools and hand tools, and even a complete tool rental center. Orm Hardware now has 6 locations to serve you, including the newest in Newark. Stop in and say hello.
I'm Dave Ogle of Scott Ogle Realty. I'm proud to be a part of TV2 and Two About Town. Been in business here since 1974. A lot has changed with real estate since those 37 years have gone by. I look forward to doing business with Cambridge and thank the people of Cambridge for all that they've provided me.
Nearly half of all Americans are suffering from recent or chronic pain. I'm Shannon Harbaugh, physical therapist. We are well equipped to assist physicians in not only treating pain, but also finding the source of pain. Southeastern Med's physical therapy team is highly qualified to treat pain resulting from arthritis, back injuries, muscle strains, post-surgical recoveries, and migraines. Call to see how you can benefit from physical therapy.
On today's program, we'll be putting on our microphone first off. That's what we'll be doing. I was so busy talking with our guests before we started the program that I didn't get my microphone on, so that's all right. On today's program of Two About Town, a 30th anniversary look back at what has happened over the years, we have a very special guest coming to us from Arizona. Grant Halfley, the man who started it all. Grant, this technology just blows my mind.
It is pretty exciting, right? No question about it, Laura.
When we started Channel 2, I didn't think that anything new could ever be invented, but I guess I've learned a lot has changed over the years.
Everything that was to be invented has been invented, is what your thinking is.
No, I imagine someone said this morning that they think that there's still more to happen in this world.
Well, I think that's a good statement. Absolutely.
Like the courthouse lighting was one of the things they mentioned. Now, 30 years ago, who would have ever thought that that would happen?
Well, that's true. There has been a lot of technical improvements on being able to do things like that. And we're certainly proud of what's happened there at the courthouse.
And people are complimentary of what has happened here at Channel 2, all because you had a vision, I guess, 30 years ago. Has it met your expectations?
Oh, I absolutely. Starting out, when we started out in the early 1980s, I mean, we were just barely figuring out how to make things work, and now it's evolved, and especially with Joel's hand in it, it's evolved into a wonderful station for the locals. 30 years of providing local information and getting local people on television is quite an accomplishment, in the fact that it's truly difficult to do because of, if nothing else, the economic issue of it. It's a lot more expensive to run TV stations and even cable systems than other type of media, and we've been very fortunate to be able to, and a lot of that has to do with you being a part of Channel 2 and going out there and getting the finances to keep us going on a weekly basis.
You're correct. We had to find financing for all those shows, but people enjoyed it. One of the challenges that I had was getting the guests to show up, and this being true today, this is the third time you've ever been on Two About Town in 30 years.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of more in the background. I like being in the control room and doing that aspect of it rather than being in front of the camera.
You know, the first time that you appeared on Two About Town was after an accident, and so we're going to share that with our viewers.
Oh boy, I'm anxious to see this again.
All right, we'll take a look.
All right.
And we're privileged, very privileged, to have a gentleman to speak to that subject, my boss, Grant Halfley. Glad you're back here.
Well, thank you, Laura. I don't know how much of a privilege it is, but I'm glad to be sitting here and not sitting anywhere. I had a very interesting experience a week ago today, as a matter of fact. And I thought I would share that a little bit with your friends out here and yourself. It's the first time I've seen you, and it's the first time I've really been out and around. But I was involved in an accident, and it was one of those situations where it was inevitable, I suppose. I went over a hillside, a little ridge in the road, and somebody was turning in front of me and had no place to go and no way to avoid it, and crashed. And in doing so, I managed to put my head through the windshield. This is an experience that we've heard about, we've seen on television, we've read in the newspaper, we've heard about it on radio, but you don't really know what it's all about until you really get involved.
Were you not wearing your seatbelt?
I was not wearing my seatbelt. And this is unusual for me. I normally do wear my seatbelt. I usually would wear it. It's an automatic situation when I get on the interstate. You know, once I hit that interstate where I know I'm going to be going at faster speeds, boom, there it goes. I just run from the radio station down here to the Centrum or to the house. Sometimes not, you know, but mostly not. It would never have occurred, my damage to my head would have never have occurred if I had had my seatbelt on. And I want to show you what that damage is right now, just to give you an idea. My purpose here is really to say, everybody out there, gang, come on, let's buckle up.
That's right, we will.
Do you fasten your seatbelt?
I always fasten my seatbelt. Even if I'm moving the car 50 feet, I put my seatbelt on now. I was a really kind of a novice when we first started Channel 2, and I realized that we needed to have some way to get out into the public, and we needed somebody to be representative of Channel 2. And you know, in life, as you look back, you say sometimes I've made some really good decisions and really bad decisions, but my best decision has been to have Laura Bates be a part of Channel 2, and I'm so pleased that you're still in there with us and for years to come.
Thank you, Grant. Almost every television show has an identifying jingle, and TV2 didn't. But one day, Dan Levy, a friend of Grant's, came by, and he had written a special jingle for To About Town.
To About Town, let us show you round. To About Town, take a look and see what can be found. Listen to the sound and welcome to our world. To About Town. Dum, 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 dum.
Oh, neat. That's nice. I've never had a song written for me.
That's for you.
Oh, very special. Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That's very nice. We will use it.
The folks who worked at Channel 2 were like family, but we also had our own families, and I brought along my granddaughter one day to share the program with me.
Can you say hello?
Look, I see me.
Yes, we're going to have a good program today.
Oh.
Well, maybe I should ask you a question. Do you know how old you are? 4 years old.
Joel Lucio's mom, Karen, brought along Dusty one day for the program, and he now is 27 years old, I think, and has a couple of degrees and doing great guns. And so we always like to show off our children on TV too.
Watching today, say Merry Christmas to Daddy and all the gang down at Seago. Watching it today. Smile, Dusty.
We came across one that was kind of a blooper, but it involved George Long. He would be the first to laugh at what you're going to see happening.
Who's on the air? Well, I'm not going to talk.
Slight technical delay here.
There you go.
This is a visual medium, right?
Okay, so that's a miracle of electronics.
In the past 30 years, the city of Cambridge has had 3 mayors, and we're very fortunate to have with us today Mayor Charles Schaub and Mayor Tom Orr, and we're going to get their views as to what's happened over 30 years ago. Charlie, you were the mayor when we started Cable Channel 2. What's happened over the past 30 years?
I think a lot of good things have happened over the last 30 years. No, a lot of things have happened, and positive things. It's just like with your Hopalong Cassidy Festival.
Oh yes,
that's
good.
That's very good, and we have a lot of activities in the downtown.
Grant Hafley is the owner of Cable Channel 2, and he never wanted to be on camera, but I think the first time he was on camera was with you, because you came by to give him a special award for his support of the employer support of the garden reserves. Do you recall that?
To be honest, no. But there were many incidents such as that. But the employee support of the garden reserve involves governmental officials, private businesses, residents such as yourself, men and women, and it is to support the garden reserve, particularly those who are deployed and their jobs are basically put in limbo. But that committee does everything it can to make sure that they get re-employment when they come back. Mr. Halfley and yourself were truly deserving of that honor and recognition.
In his behalf, we thank you for honoring him.
Well, thank you.
Grant's been very good to our community, and as well as Channel 2, this is very critical to our community to keep people informed, and like the Dickens as we go forward and some of the things that's going on there, and Grant's been silently behind some, and these guys and girls, and we do appreciate, as mayors, this makes our job a whole lot easier when you have this kind of communication. That's very important.
In between your terms, we had Sam Slupo as the mayor, and in 1981 he was in charge of the American Lung Association, and he was on to About Town to promote Christmas seals, and he gave me this scarf, and it says 1981, and it has the Christmas seals on it. And so
Norman Rockwell.
Yes, everybody accuses me of being a collector and a saver, but I thought when we were talking about doing this program, I thought how nice, and I have several things that people gave me over the years, and it was a fun thing. Okay, Tom, Charlie warped your mind, he said, when he was teaching you in school?
Well, he taught a lot of kids in school, so that kind of gave him a leg up on connections, so to speak. But at the same time, he, gave me an opportunity to serve on the park board. He always, and I try to do the same thing as far as analyze possible people, new blood, so to speak, involvement in things to help link our community so they'll have a true vision of the whole town. Little Cambridge is a very special place. What was the special events? The special thing is that we're still here doing very decently. We don't go way down, we don't go way up, but we plug along with good people and family, and we have a good school system. We have a Muskingum College to one side, and Steubenville. I mean, we're a nice little niche at 1777. Through a lot of struggles, water and sewer, and some of the things I've seen this mayor go through, and Sam in between. We're trying to put an end cap on that, and maybe we'll get another windfall with the gas and oil and the businesses and the tourism that's starting to come here.
People who come from all over the United States, especially for the Hoppy Festival, say, you have the nicest town. They really like the people. They think they're friendly, and so I think it all starts at the top and it filters down. And so we appreciate the service that you two have given to the city of Cambridge, and thank you for sharing 30 years with us.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
We had one of our photographers go out and take shots of Main Street, going up and down Main Street, and I want you to take a look at that and see the difference in the stores. New stores have come in. Some of your favorites are gone. Notice the difference in the names in the banks.
Parents concerned about the whole development of their child should take a look at St. Benedict Catholic School. Here the emphasis is on the tradition of excellence in education plus a concentration on personal values and morals. Small classes allow individual attention from quality educators offering basic studies, music, and art. Students participate in community programs, scholastic competition, and an athletic program directed by the Knights of Columbus. Students of any faith are warmly welcomed at St. Benedict Catholic School.
If your muffler's getting loud and you just can't stand the sound,
There's a man right in your neighborhood who can do the job right now. It's minutes away. You want your muffler day.
In Cambridge, stop at C&L Service Center, 125 North 7th Street. Also saluting the oil and gas industry is Cherry Tire, your BF Goodrich dealer. BF Goodrich uses state-of-the-art technology to meet your driving requirements. Buy the best. BF Goodrich, proven not only in tests, not only in labs, but proven in the field, on the job. Buy the best at Cherry Tire, 629 Steubenville Avenue, Cambridge.
Let Whirlpool prove that quality can be beautiful and efficient. Anchor's Appliance, now serving the second generation of Cambridge families, will point out the features. Whirlpool has a self-clean range with plug-out burners, lift-up top, and programmable oven. The heavy-duty washer has a magic clean filter, choice of water levels, and the dryer has custom dry control. The fully automatic defrost refrigerator offers ice and water through the door. Anchor's Appliance will deliver the convenience of Whirlpool to your home.
How do you like us now? How do you like us now? You know that we're here to stay. We're your hometown dealer, growing every day. Great service you can count on. We're always thinking of you. We got just what you're looking for. How do you like us now?
You know what to do. Let's get to Cambridge Classic Ford in downtown Cambridge. Open Saturdays till 5.
When it's time to replace your tires, think of Buckeye Tire and Service. Buckeye Tire and Service carries all major brands of tires for auto, trucks, and farm equipment. They offer front-end alignments, brakes, shocks, struts, as well as emergency road service. The friendly staff will get you the right tires and care for all of your vehicles. Stop in and see John and Monty at Buckeye Tire and Service. In today's marketplace, you have many choices for insurance. WB Green Insurance, your independent insurance agents, are committed to providing you with excellent coverage for your home, auto, and business. They provide insurance products with knowledge and trust and have been in the neighborhood for over 130 years. At WB Green, get the right coverage on all your investments so you are protected from those unexpected mishaps. Anchor's Appliance is Cambridge's only appliance store. Choose from a large selection of appliances from Whirlpool, Maytag, Speed Queen, and Frigidaire. Their showroom is stocked full of freezers, refrigerators, ranges, dishwashers, microwaves, washers and dryers, and all the top-of-the-line Whirlpool appliances. At Anchor's, delivery and setup is free, and they haul away your old. They have built a reputation on reliable service and repairs. See for yourself what Anchor's Appliance has for you. Proud to be serving Cambridge since 1947.
If you ever go across the sea to Ireland, then maybe at the closing of your day.
Every time Mad Dog Adams and Fiddler Hal came to the Point Restaurant, they came to see us here at TV2. And so we always put them on the program, and the folks loved them. every Wednesday on To About Town, we had a special segment of the program devoted to Dave Ogle real estate, and so he would come by and bring his guests and his realtors, and we'd talk about real estate. Remember those days?
I sure do, Laura. Yeah.
And Chris Gibson used to be on there with us and talk about real estate. Things have changed, haven't they?
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Yeah. I was telling someone just recently about your guests. You'd bring in somebody who was new to town and introduce them to the people. One of the people that you brought in was Fred Mankins.
Right.
He was with Edward Jones, and because of him, I invested money, and now I can spend money. 'Cause I don't have to rely on Social Security. But you had some very special guests, and I remember especially you brought Terry Leggett.
Terry Leggett. Oh yeah. Yeah. Terry became an agent with me, and I know I brought him on. And Terry was always high energy.
Yeah.
He was always high energy, and he was very goal oriented. But I remember that time.
Yeah, and Chris, remember sometimes it was hard to get people to talk.
Yeah, we've had some on before that just froze for the camera.
So how have things changed in the 30 years in real estate?
Well, we're discussing the interest rates have changed quite a bit. When I got in business with Dave back in '81, the interest rates were 18%.
Wow.
And right now we were talking they're between 3 and 4%.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And the prices, how have they changed?
Oh boy, they've changed a lot. But we've been in a little bit of a spiral down since about '06. But gosh, I think, Laura, I bought a rental. I bought a home that was for sale, and I bought it as a rental. And I used to do that just for the write-off, interest write-off and deductions. And I think I bought this home for $21,000, and it's right here in town. And that home rents today for over $600 a month.
Goodness.
So you think about the return.
Yeah.
But it's been a number of years. But I think the biggest difference was the interest rate. 18%. I remember the fire chief. I sold him a home. He paid 18% interest.
Goodness sakes.
We had so much trouble getting financing. We had to do owner financing. We had to be so creative. We were so much more involved then in the loan. Where today we hand them over to the loan officer. Back then we had to qualify them ourselves.
Oh, really? So things have really changed in the real estate world in 30 years.
Oh, yeah, tremendously.
We're talking about cell phones and how did we ever manage without those back then. But we had beepers, and anytime Dave or the office needed us, they just beeped us.
And so then you'd go find a phone.
Find a phone and call back in and see what they needed.
We thank you so much for all that you contributed to Channel 2 over the years, and it's been fun having you back to reminisce.
We thank you, Laura, because I think you were a pioneer for me to be on the show. And Chris mentioned we used to show our homes, we'd hold a picture up. And that's the way we promoted our properties.
I know, but it worked.
And you always made us feel so comfortable and welcome.
Yes.
You always had a smile on your face.
Yes. Well, I love people, as you know. And we thank you so much for being with us.
Hey, thank you, Laura.
Joel was busy doing commercials for Classic Ford with Miss Ohio. You take a look at this.
You've got to keep satisfying a lot of people and listen to a lot of background noise to keep that way.
Yeah.
It's before me. And of course, stay a winner. God, that was terrible.
A little more excitement.
Was that right? I always want to prove my talent, do my best at whatever job is before me, and of course, stay a winner. Okay.
Big smile.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Laura.
What are your plans for the future?
I forget. I want to always improve my talent. I want to always
over the years, for one reason or another, I couldn't make Two About Town, and so we'd have to have somebody fill in. Sometimes it's the last moment, but Dave Wilson was usually the first one that we called, and so you were a fill-in. Yeah.
and it was fun. It was always fun. You know, here again, it was part of the ABC family, so chances are we were downtown at the Centrum anyway. Yeah. And you just kind of slide into the chair. But yours is always a tough chair to fill, because on TV, you're on display.
Well,
radio, you know, I've got a face made for radio, so that kind of takes an edge off. Yeah, and if you have something to fill or whatever, you know, you just go into another song or whatever. You don't have to worry about it. But you had to be on top of your game all the time on your show.
Well, and then sometimes the guests didn't show up.
Oh yeah. And that's when you go to Plan B.
And you had a good Plan B.
We tried. We thought we'd go TV2 Unplugged, behind the scenes with Two About Town.
Well, we have that. We're going to share that in its entirety in today's program, Dave.
Hey, we're back. That was the message from the United Fund. Got a few minutes yet in the program. This is what happens, you know, if nobody shows up, I guess, at certain assigned times. What do you think, Scott? Scott Core over there on the camera. Jenny Kesterson back there. Yeah, that was Scott's hand. Here we are. This is, boy, we need some lighting here. Yeah, Grant, thanks.
But you're not supposed to do this, Dave.
That's okay. That's Grant Halfley. Not only is he a close personal friend of mine, he's also my boss, my employee. Swell guy, Grant. This is where it all takes place. See, everything's being taped right now. Everything that we do, it goes in right here on your basic Sony videotape machine right here. That's hip TV kind of talk. This is Ron Fleming coming in right now. Ron, a good friend of ours here at Channel 2. He'll be on next. On the audio, this is where it all comes in. If you don't believe me, see if I go like this. It's fun. This is fun. And it's been great sharing these things with you today. So on behalf of all of us down here at the Centrum, have a great day. Stay tuned for Ron.
And another time that you substituted for me was a surprise to me, and it wasn't on Two About Town.
No, in fact, it was literally Uptown, and you were getting the surprise honor of being chosen as the Grand Marshal, deservedly so, for the annual Christmas parade in downtown Cambridge. And that was a lot of fun, because you and I had just done the preliminary show, the courthouse lighting, the flipping of the switch, and then it was like, okay, Laura, you're out of here, and that was a pretty nice night for you.
Well, I remember someone showed up in Lincoln and said, we need you down at the railroad station to do an interview before the parade. And I thought, how am I going to get down there, get the interview, and get back here in time to do the parade? And so then when I got down there, well, that's when I found out.
And that's when we took over up on the courthouse square, and somehow we made it through that end of the program without you. But it was really neat seeing the parade, and in a position that we thought was just perfect for you, because you, in so many ways over the years, defined Cambridge, and especially with the Two About Town program, the Shopper's Basket, you were always up and down Wheeling Avenue, and just had such a close relationship with the merchant community and with the community at large. It seemed like a perfect thing for you.
Dave, do you have a special memory of Two About Town?
Well, I do. In fact, watching the different folks that have been here talking about memories and everything today, and I was thinking about some things that are a little more on the serious side, and folks that I just don't get to see that much anymore. But for some reason, the one thing that stuck in my head was one day while you're shooting the program live at noon, something went pop.
Chairman of the Exchange Students Committee as our guest, and also Mia. And we thank them for coming.
It was one of the lights, and the lights burned at a very high temperature, at least the technology that we were using then, and the light popped out of its socket, hit the carpeting, and set the carpeting on fire. That was a special moment.
Yeah.
So you handled it well.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Well, one of my special memories of you happens to be a blooper.
Big surprise there.
Big surprise. Because you helped do commercials.
Sure. Everybody kind of chipped in, do what you needed, and wherever the role was, you rolled with it, right?
Yeah, and this one happened to be something automotive, and so I was not really suited for an automotive commercial. I can turn on the car, But do you remember doing that?
It doesn't have anything to do with transmissions, does it?
It had something to do with transmissions, and I just think the folks that really get a chuckle out of seeing you at your worst, maybe.
Maybe so. Maybe so. We'll have to let them decide.
Okay, go. Ouch, 31 days, and you went to one of those 30-day places too. Should have taken my advice and gone to Rayco. They give 2 days free for the shift. All I could think of after that was I looked up to. Okay, first of many. Sorry. Go ahead. Ouch, should have taken my advice and gone. Don't do this, Dave. I knew you'd do it. I don't want you to do it. Shut up. I'm sorry. Okay. We'll do it. Get back on the creeper. This is a lot easier in the studio when you don't have a camera on. Ouch, 31 days, and you went to one of those 30-day places too. Should have taken my advice and gone to see Rayco. They give 2-year, 24,000 miles on most of their transmission jobs. If it is 2 years, I never said warranty. Go. Ready? Okay. Ouch, 31 days, and you went to one of those 30-day places too. You should have taken my advice and gone to Rayco. They give, I had it too. Down, just keep going. Ouch, 31, again. Ouch, 31 days, and you went to one of those 30-day places too. You should have taken my advice and gone to Rayco. They give 2-year, 24,000 mile warranties on most of their transmission jobs. Go. Ouch, 31 days, and you went to one of those 30-day places too. You should have taken my advice and gone to Rayco. They give free 2-year, 24,000 mile warranties on most of their transmission jobs.
Well, Dave, I think we've had lots of great memories over the years.
Yeah, and apparently lots of bad hair and eyewear days too, but you know, I guess we all we all evolve with time, right?
Oh, I know. Extra weight, you know, and you have to, you know, whatever.
But you look marvelous, dear, and I wanted to thank you for every moment that I've been able to share, and the fact that my career really started with a career day appearance that you had at Cambridge High School my junior year. Got me my first job at WILE, AM and FM, and we had that 4 hours of rock and roll on the weekend, all thanks to you, and everything else just kind of fell into place, so God bless you, and thanks for a lot of great memories, and for a career that I've really enjoyed now for over 28 years.
Thank you for coming. We'll continue on our journey of 30 years at TV2 after we take a commercial break. But before we go to today's commercial, we want you to take a look at yesterday's commercial here on TV2.
Generation after generation of Cambridge families have enjoyed the comfort of carpet as installed by Milfair Linoleum and Carpet. For 39 years, quality name brand carpet has been featured at competitive prices, and the installation service is unequaled. In addition to carpet, Milfair offers hard surface flooring, window treatments, wallpaper, sweepers, and carpet cleaning equipment. Depend on Milfair Linoleum and Carpet, 634 Steubenville Avenue, to meet the needs of this generation and the next.
I'm Brent Miller, and on behalf of all of us here at Milfair, I'd like to congratulate Two About Town for 30 years of service to this community. We at Milfair have been here 62 years. When my dad started this business back in 1949, and as you've seen, my children have grown up here, and we've made Cambridge part of our lives, and we know you have too. Welcome to Milfair at any time.
You don't need to buy a truck to get four-wheel drive. Here's an American Motors Eagle from Dunning Motors, and it has full-time four-wheel drive. Here's another. Looks good, doesn't it? And another. All with four-wheel drive for exceptional roadability in rain and mud, snow and ice. Two-wheel drive for ordinary driving and fuel efficiency. Enjoy four-wheel drive power in an Eagle that looks good from the inside out. Switch to an Eagle with four-wheel drive at Dunning Motors, Route 209 South.
Hi there, this is John Dunning from Dunning Motor Sales. It's funny how the more things change, the more they stay the same. Dunning Motor Sales is proud to have supported Guernsey County since my dad started the business in 1976 up through today.
Why call a Century 21 agent? Because they're filled to the brim with caring and patience and plain English translations. They educate, they hold hands, and not for real like during a couple song at a roller rink, but metaphorically like how they break it all down for you. What's it mean when there's a mortgage lien? I don't know, but they sure do, and they're happy to explain. They're made of insight and speed and sunflower seeds. That's right, sunflower seeds. Because they're all about bringing a big blossoming bundle of happiness into your day. This is who they are. This is what they do. Century 21 agents. Smarter, bolder, faster.
That's where we were then. This is where we are now. Thank you, Laura, for 30 wonderful years.
Orm Hardware, the leading hardware in the area, wants to invite you to visit one of their many locations to help with your next project. Orm's has everything you'd expect from a full-service hardware store, with all sizes of stainless steel nuts and bolts, a large variety of automotive accessories, polishes and waxes, a terrific selection of power tools and hand tools, and even a complete tool rental center. Orm Hardware now has 6 locations to serve you, including the newest in Newark. Stop in and say hello.
I'm Dave Ogle of Scott Ogle Realty. I'm proud to be a part of TV2 and 2 About Town. Been in business here since 1974. A lot has changed with real estate since those 37 years have gone by. I look forward to doing business with Cambridge and thank the people of Cambridge for all that they've provided me.
Will open at 3 o'clock, donation of $3. And I think I'm getting, excuse me, well, so we have to sneeze, and we even have Kleenexes here from Central Pharmacy.
Relationships that are made on a business basis sometimes transition into a personal relationship, and Sue Dodd is with us, and that's what's happened to us, I think.
The whole family.
Yeah, we started out as you were one of the sponsors for To About Town when you had the blue ribbon paint, and then you made the backdrops for us.
That was fun because I tried to make the colors match what I thought you were going to wear for the day or talk about or whatever. It was fun. There's one I'd like to find.
Yeah, I would like to find. I have a couple of the smaller ones, but I don't
There's
have
one of the
big
duck
ones.
pond with a stained glass look. And I'd like to find that one again, just for memories.
So so she would be on my program to talk about the store and the backdrops, and then later on you did a whole program for us here at Channel 2 on teaching.
It was called Brushes Up, and M&M Paint Store was the name of my store. My sons and I owned and ran it, and I don't remember how we got into that.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to go to school to learn to paint, and here I was on television teaching. I had no clue what I was doing, but it was fun.
But you taught yourself well because you captured so many images of the community in your paintings.
I didn't choose this profession, it chose me. But now that I look back, I wouldn't have any other way. I really love what I'm doing.
And so you made all the nice backdrops for us, and then you did a lot of commercial work, I call it, and then you started capturing awards for things, and you did our mural for the Hopalong Cassidy thing, as well as dozens over in Zanesville.
I'm 70 years old, and I just finished what I call a mini mural for the ABC Communications at the radio station. The mural wasn't going to work being a normal mural, so we broke it up into pieces, and but that's my 70th piece. It was just such a joy to travel down memory lane and to be a part of something so community minded. To be so respectful of the ones who work there and their dedication.
Is there anything that stands out in your mind about Channel 2 and your association with it over these years?
I didn't want, as an artist, we are pretty much social, non-functioning people. We don't fit in. I'm like a bull in a china shop. Don't invite me to parties because I'll trip over the punch bowl or something, but
that you have to get on a table first if you're on trip over the
I've been there too. Anyway, Channel 2 was more than any eggplant or factory worker. I'm a workaholic. I'm more comfortable in my jeans, and so to go into that kind of a mode or be around those kind of people and learn what the word profession, I didn't get it, but it was quite an experience.
Well, we had fun.
Yes, we did. We had a lot of fun over there. I even got to sit in with you, and you interviewed my sons Stevie and Craig and Robbie, who was on JTP. Remember JTPA?
Yes.
And they were a big part of your show.
Well, what I have on tape's my granddaughter. She's a little thing like this, you know, and so I said, we'll be talking with my granddaughter, Mara, in just a few minutes, and she said, Grandma, I see you and me over there. So that's one of my favorite memories.
Well, that's what I feel like. But my memories, of course, I think this way, and that's my favorite song, Fairy Tales Can Come True, Can Happen to You if you're young at heart. And I've always felt like a child who was handed a coloring book and handed all these experiences just like a little kid, you know, just being young at heart, and the music does that to you.
Great.
Thank you, ABC.
And thank you, Sue Dodd.
Tomorrow. It's supposed to be nice tomorrow. So this I brought because I wanted the feel of summer too. Okay? Good. Soaking up the sunshine, reaching out to skies of blue, a day like today, with birds on a wing, when all spirits sing of happiness.
That's beautiful. That goes right along with Father's Day.
Sure.
Childhood and all that.
Yeah, it could. Good. I'm glad it fits in.
Yes, it really does.
Our next guest has been a friend of mine for longer than 30 years. I met Joel Lucigo when he started coming to the Saltwork Festival to take charge of the music for performing arts. So when did you start your association with Grant?
I started back, gosh, I don't even remember what year, but I was 12 years old.
12 years old?
12 years old.
Then when we came in here, it seemed like you always were hiding in the director's room.
I was always the guy that liked to stay behind the scenes. This is only my third appearance I've ever made on your show, and the others were probably by accident.
Yes.
They weren't intentional.
And then you remember what they were?
I can remember one time on my birthday, I made a quick appearance. Mary Fran was on a guest that day, and as we all of us that remember Mary Fran, she had a beautiful voice and did a lot of singing. And at the end of your show, she surprised me with happy birthday. But me being the shy kid that I was, I refused to make an appearance on your show.
And she kept on.
She sang, and finally she changed the words to, where are you, Joel? So I made a quick appearance, but more interesting about that, as you see the video, you'll see in the chair beside her a stuffed blue bear.
And that was a tradition.
Do you remember the stuffed blue bear? Mm-hmm. We're now here at the Moose Lodge, but it used to be called the Centrum, and this is where our studios were. And we did a lot of things here. In addition to the TV too, we did dances and wedding receptions, and we even had a church service here every Saturday morning. One Saturday afternoon, after church had let out and everybody had gone away, we found in the parking lot this blue bear. And the poor bear, it wasn't just laying in the parking lot. It had been run over by, I think, every car that was there that day. It had been raining, it was muddy, it was just absolutely atrocious. And one of the other folks on the staff at that time took it home, cleaned it all up, and I believe that was its first appearance on television. And then even to this day, 30 years later, that blue bear makes appearances out of thin air.
Remember the monkey?
Oh, the monkey. I don't remember exactly how the idea stuck in my mind, but I thought it'd be fun to have the monkey, sitting there with me directing the show, and the monkey notices himself on the TV monitor live and reacts to it, and I don't know. It was fun at the time. It's a little corny now, but we did stuff like that.
I know. Joe, I remember when you were practicing doing the news.
Yeah, we were putting together the news, and I had to create the set and, of course, figure out how all of it was going to work. And I don't remember exactly what it was or who it was, but I was recording myself sitting on the new news set and making sure, to make sure it was going to look okay, and then, put some graphics over it and just testing everything. And so I'm kind of fake reading the news, making some stuff up, and probably saying things I shouldn't say. And I sign off from the newscast, and I'm all done. And off stage, somebody throws a cup of water in my face.
TV2 News. I'm Joel Lesigo. You're not, but happy.
As you can see, we did some good stuff.
We did, and I appreciate you sharing 30 years of Channel 2.
It's time once again to say Happy New Year. And
over the years, we had the privilege of attending some very special functions. We would get invited to different activities, and one time we were invited to celebrate the Chinese New Year at the House of Hunan, and that was quite an experience because it had all these beautiful designs and fruits, and a fountain that was pouring down some kind of punch and tasty food. And one of the guys here at TV2 challenged me to taste something, and I did, and it was hot. It was so hot that I thought I wasn't going to be able to make it through the evening, but it was a part of our fun that we had when we worked at Channel 2. And we have some very special guests to talk with at this time. We have Joe Sechrest and Bob Hendershot, and we're glad to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. Over the years, we've talked about government and agriculture and parades and things of that sort with you two gentlemen. But I wanted to mention to Joe, it seems like every time we talk with you, we bring back the legacy of Bob Sechrest.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
I have a lot of fond memories of him growing up, and he was such a wonderful public speaker.
4,000 people and injured, thousands of more, just for that attack on Pearl Harbor Day. We remember, those of us who are older, those things. Our job as veterans.
So passionate, and he could make audiences laugh and cry, and he was just masterful in terms of an orator. I think it's a natural ability few people have, and he certainly had it. He told me one time he would have been a Baptist minister, but he was afraid of water.
Oh, yeah. Well, and so you had a legacy to protect there when you entered the politics.
Yeah. There's no doubt his preceding me contributed greatly to my success, that's for sure. And it was big shoes to fill, and you constantly strive to accomplish things that your family, because of his legacy, you want to maintain that. But at the same time, I also knew that what he did and what he accomplished was far beyond my capabilities. So I just struggled and did the best I could.
So when we began in 1981, you were a state representative.
I got elected in '82 and came to your show regularly until '92, until I left the legislature. Yes.
And over the years, we've shared some good times. I remember especially Farm City Day and the role that you played in agriculture. How do you feel that agriculture has impacted Guernsey County?
Well, I think agriculture's had a big impact, and it's very important that over the years it seems like we're about 2 generations away from the farm now. Most people don't understand but very little, if anything, about agriculture now. And as far as the food at the grocery stores, it just kind of appears there, but there's a lot of things go on to get it there. But the average age of the farmer now is, I think, about 57 or 8. So we're getting older. And as far as Farm City Day, I was privileged to have it on our farm twice. And I think it brought a lot of people out. A lot of people got to learn some things.
Oh, I remember.
But we just got to continue that.
Another important industry in the past and looks like looming in the future has been the oil and gas industry. See, I'm a pack rat, and so I've been trying to clean up things, and I came across the t-shirts that we had for the oil and gas parades and the program booklets and things. So that was, I think, 83 or 84, something like that. It was a big deal. So.
They were huge. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people in the community remember. I mean, they were maybe like a mile-long parade of oil rigs and trucks and service trucks and all the people in the industry when it was a big boom here the last time in the early 80s.
Well, we thank you so much for sharing some moments with us as we look back for 30 years on cable channel 2.
It was always a pleasure doing your show, and I tell you, you were such a gracious hostess. You always made it easy. You come in with a little butterflies in your belly, and you weren't in the chair 30 seconds, and you felt comfortable and at ease. So congratulations to you for 30 years of processing guests and doing it in a gracious manner.
Thank you so much.
I remember that too, particularly in the Farm City programs we put on, and we'd come in and sit in front of the TV and talk about them things. And
make it very comfortable.
Made it easy.
Yeah.
Well, good.
That is easy today.
Good. I'm glad.
No big trouble.
Sorry to see it's over.
Yeah.
Well, we can come back and do it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see you in 30 years.
Yeah.
That's a date.
Maybe not here, but
yeah.
We'll be back to continue our program after a short commercial break, but before we see today's commercial, we want you to take a look at something that aired several years ago here on TV2.
Take a good look inside Perkins Auto Museum. They've collected the automobiles guaranteed to win your admiration. Inspect a 1929 Model A, a 1982 Berlina, or nearly 100 other vintage, classic, and exotic cars at Perkins Auto Museum on Route 40, 4 miles west of Cambridge. Admission is $3 per person, $5 a couple, with children under 12 admitted free. Stop by Thursday through Sunday from 10 until 6. Perkins Auto Museum, dedicated to collecting unusual cars, especially the makes and models that command a second look.
The Dewey Avenue Market is open 7 days a week, 9 a.m. until midnight, offering a variety in grocery needs, including generic items at savings of 25%. Buy country fresh eggs, Bachman's breads and sandwich buns, or select from choice fruits and vegetables. The Dewey Avenue Market Deli serves table-ready meats, salads, and cheese. Or enjoy whole Wonder roast chickens, slow-cooked for a new taste experience. Everett, Tom, and Charmaine appreciate the opportunity to serve you at the Dewey Avenue Market.
For the past 38 years, George Bliss has served you at 11th and Steubenville in Cambridge, and he continues that same friendly service with Ohio Gasoline, Atlas Tires, batteries, general auto service, tune-ups, mufflers, and brake work. Now, George Bliss can serve you at a second location, 5th and Steubenville in Cambridge. Stop for Ohio Gasoline, coffee, sandwiches, pop, and cigarettes. Need gas or auto service? Let George do it at Bliss, Ohio, 11th and Steubenville, or 5th and Steubenville in Cambridge.
Individuals injured in a motor vehicle collision in rural areas are twice as likely to die than those injured in a large city. I'm Dr. Michael Sarup. Southeastern Med has the only American College of Surgeons verified trauma center in southeastern Ohio. This means that all victims are treated by dedicated, well-trained emergency department and surgical professionals. Southeastern Med's trauma team is here when you need us.
Southeastern Med, caring people here. How do you like us now? How do you like us now? You know that we're here to stay. We're your hometown dealer, growing every day. Great service you can count on. We're always thinking of you. We got just what you're looking for. How do you like us now?
You know what to do. Let's get to Cambridge Classic Ford in downtown Cambridge. Open Saturdays till 5.
When it's time to replace your tires, think of Buckeye Tire and Service. Buckeye Tire and Service carries all major brands of tires for auto, trucks, and farm equipment. They offer front-end alignments, brakes, shocks, struts, as well as emergency road service. The friendly staff will get you the right tires and care for all of your vehicles. Stop in and see John and Monty at Buckeye Tire and Service.
About the time they spent at WILEN, we had a lot of fun there.
Yes,
Tammy,
we did.
It's good to have you here, Tammy and Lou.
Thank you.
I'm glad to see that I'm in control today.
You are. Okay.
Better watch out, Laura.
Have your day, kiddo. Have your day. Debbie, I didn't even know that you worked at this station.
And we had Jerry Wolfram on our program several times because he was one of the promoters of activities here in the Cambridge area, as well as in the know because he was at the Daily Jeffersonian. You said you thought you'd been on my program about 6 times, Jerry?
I think so.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And promoting the theater sometimes?
Always the community theater, always downtown projects.
Uh-huh.
And the media, though, was the big, our relationship with the radio and newspaper.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We did work well together, which was a surprise to a lot of people because I think they thought we were competing, but
oh no.
But it was for the good of the community that we all were in business.
Oh yes, absolutely, and it was that was always fun.
Jerry, the beauty of tape is that you can keep those memories alive, and so we have something very special we want to share with you concerning how we all work together.
In Cambridge, Ohio, a trio of news services keeps you informed, entertained, and up to date with East Central Ohio activities.
Good morning, Cambridge, and news headlines from WILE.
Wake up at 6 a.m. to the early morning sounds of WILE Radio. Hear the news every hour. Listen to the latest musical hits. Catch the weather reports. Cheer on the local sports teams. Or just relax and enjoy the great new sounds of WILE 18 hours a day. In the early afternoon, open the Daily Jeffersonian and find comprehensive reports of local news happenings. Check the editorial page. Agree or disagree with the letters to the editor. Put laughter into your life with the comics. Or become informed of state, national, and international events. The dedicated staff of the Jeff keeps on top of the news to give you an unbiased look at the Cambridge and surrounding area.
Here at the Daily Jeffersonian, we do our very best to produce the finest newspaper possible.
Cable Channel 2, headquartered at the Centrum, now in the 3rd year of serving the immediate Cambridge area, presents local people doing local things. 2 About Town at 11:30 and 5:30 finds Laura Bates with your friends and neighbors, important visiting dignitaries, and special guests in a relaxed 60 minutes of conversation. Stay with Channel 2 for a closer look, an in-depth interview program with Ron Fleming.
We seek out the political, religious, and social agencies to meet their need in telling you their particular stories.
See the Cambridge High sports teams in action. Watch local parades, see musical concerts, or the little people of Cambridge at Christmas time. Praise Gathering at 7 each Tuesday evening offers the best in gospel and contemporary religious music. At election time, the news media gathers at the Centrum to provide complete results as they are tabulated at the Board of Elections.
We may be number 2 on the Cambridge Cable Network, but we're number 1 with the wonderful people of Cambridge who enjoy the visual coverage our crew provides. Keep us in view.
This is Cambridge, East Central Ohio, at the crossroads of the nation, and there is unity in the community with the news services of WILE Radio, the Daily Jeffersonian, and Cable Channel 2. Good news, everyone.
And over the past 30 years, I think about election nights, and we would stay up till maybe 4 o'clock in the morning to get the results. And now they tell you who won before the voting's over.
As far as the newspaper goes, it's always in a constant state of flux. But you know, Laura, I honestly believe, and I've been here for 50 years, the best may be yet to come.
Oh.
I've looked at some of these economic development reports. I talk to people, and I just think, I thank God that I live in Cambridge, Ohio, because we're going to see a lot of good things.
Great. Well, we thank you so much for sharing 30 years with us. Jerry Wolfram. Oh my gosh!
I'm looking for Laura Bates.
Well, I'm here. I am here. What is this? From the birthday girl. Well, come sit down. Are you Mrs. Santa or
Ms. Santa, actually? I'm here with all the single moms and the one-person family these days. That I would be Ms. Claus.
Oh my
this year.
gosh!
Yes.
So what?
And here
what
is some
this?
homemade jam from Perfect Present, and a balloon bouquet, and happy birthday.
Oh
this is a surprise, isn't
It is. It was my birthday.
And,
Well, John's birthday's today. What kind of a present would you bring him?
is.
Yeah, he and I share birthdays.
Wow.
Could you,
yes, let's scoop up. Yes, happy birthday.
Not everyone can work with someone for 30 years and still like each other, but John Clark and I, we've been doing this for 30 years.
30 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I think when we first started, you were doing dances or something.
Yes,
of sort.
in this very room right here, right behind us in this corner, yes.
Yeah, well, we appreciate the Moose people allowing us to be down here today because it's a lot different than what it was then.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Then after you were doing dances, you transitioned into doing camera work.
Yes.
For Two About Town. Yeah. Do you remember anything that was exciting, especially?
Oh, there were a couple shows that really stuck out in my mind. Obviously, one of them was when you done Shopper's Basket.
Yeah, you liked Shopper's Basket.
Yes.
When I'd make bloopers.
Yes, that was one of them.
Yeah.
Another one was, I guess Grant will talk about this as well, when he was on the air after his accident. So that's the two that stick out in my mind.
Yeah. Shopper's Basket. Well, see, I even brought my little Shopper's Basket
I've seen
today.
that sitting there, yes.
You know, that was an important part of Two About Town. You know, I'd go down, see the sponsors and bring back things. And I remember down at Central Pharmacy, I would get Kleenexes and I'd have them back behind me, or toothbrushes.
Right.
And sometimes I'd bring candy and cookies, but somebody'd eat them all.
Yeah, they disappear.
I know. Well, in addition to our work here, we used to go outside and do special things, and I know you were involved in a promotion for State Highway Patrol. Tell us about that.
Yes, actually I can remember that very vividly. We went out on State Route 40, and I wasn't really, but I played drunk, and the State Highway Patrol wouldn't let me weave the van on the road. But after all that was done, I went through the whole process, being arrested, searched, booked, into court, and actually went and sat in a jail cell, which is the part I didn't like, because they slammed the big iron door shut, and that made a lot of noise, and I could see why, that could be very scary. Yeah.
But that was a promotion to encourage people to not drink and drive.
Exactly.
Oh, Lunch Bunch, remember Lunch Bunch?
Yes, I do. Every Friday during the summer up on the courthouse square, several years ago.
The first time you did that, you didn't know that you were going to have to walk and carry a camera?
No, that was a test, I think, to see how well I did. But it come out all right.
Lunch Bunch every Friday downtown.
And that went on for 4 or 5 years, I believe.
Yeah, it was a good time, and it's good to remember.
Yes.
And we thank you for your part in our retrospect for Channel 2.
I'm glad to do it.
Television is not an instant medium sometimes, and so we were out doing Christmas greetings, and the commercials were being done by those people who weren't experienced at doing it, and so they would try time after time after time to get it right and say Merry Christmas without doing a mistake. And so we want to share some of those and look for your friends and neighbors in this series of commercials on TV2.
At the camera, look right at the lens.
You ready?
Ready? You can see our breath. We would like to thank all of our customers.
Happy holiday.
Oh, no! He said, "Hi, I'm Marilyn McKelvey. I hope that you aren't going to like that one." Ray's Floral Designs wishes you a very Merry Christmas.
Hi, I'm Anna Theodosopoulos, and we at Theo's Restaurant would like to wish you a joyous holiday season. Merry Christmas!
Wait, we're supposed to keep looking.
Oh.
Hi, this is Rick Lilienthal, and from all the employees here at Lilienthal Southeastern Incorporated, we would like to wish you a Happy New Year. Whoops. Forgot that.
Hi, I'm Russ Abels from Abels Incorporated in Cambridge. We wish you to...
Happy holidays from the Artisan Center.
The Board of Directors. Well, you said okay. I'm saying okay because you said you were ready. Okay.
Hi, I'm Mike Carpenter. Hi, I'm Jay Jeffries. And beyond.
Yeah, what a good blooper. Don't be doing that.
From all of...
Everyone at Heilig Myers wants to wish you a happy holidays. Where are you guys at?
Happy holidays.
From Columbus National Bank, and us at Columbus National Bank are wishing you a
Happy holidays.
We better do that again.
There you go. He froze.
Hi, I'm Dave Wilson from your AVC Communications radio stations and Cable Channel 2, wishing you the happiest of holiday season. Season? Season. Seasons. Thank you.
This is Vicki Gowdy from Misty Meadow Farm Bed and Breakfast.
All of us at Classic Ford, Lincoln Mercury, from all the staff at Guernsey Health Choices,
Have a safe and happy holiday.
I screwed that up real good.
You're not.
I'm Jan LePage, Cambridge Downtown Project Manager. Everyone from Cambridge Allianceville Project.
And one of our guests over the years for various projects was Beth Gatos. And Beth, we're so happy to have you back.
Well, thanks, Laura. It was a real thrill to be invited to come back.
I can remember that we would talk about extension work and 4-H work and how to preserve your apples or whatever.
Right. Yeah. And certainly things have changed since I used to come and do this. You know, processing times have changed, procedures have changed, and it's something that you need to keep on top of. So it's an ongoing educational effort.
The mayor of Marietta, Nancy Hollister, and I were judges for the Beautiful Baby contest at the Noble County Fair, and I'm not sure whether you asked us to be the judges or who asked us, but anyway, this beautiful little boy with batting eyelashes won the contest, and then I find out it's your son.
Yes, and I purposely stayed away from that because I didn't want to be involved in any way. And I came down toward the grandstands after the event, and my husband said, "Well, guess who won?" And I just was so shocked. But I remember that I talked to you then afterwards, and you said he gave you a kiss.
He did.
So I figured that probably pushed it over the edge.
I didn't know it was your child.
No, you wouldn't have. And I tried to stay out of it so that wouldn't happen. But
it seems like the kids shouldn't grow up, but they do.
Well, and I think about all the 4-H members that over time I would bring here, and they are parents now, and times certainly change. But I remember coming to the show every month, and I remember we would have discussions about specific topics, or I would bring information about an upcoming event, or like I'd say I would bring some 4-H members who would either model a clothing project or talk about a project, and it was just a great time. I always enjoyed it.
I think the staff always enjoyed when you gave a sample food.
A food, yes,
That was always fun.
That was always a hit,
fun.
right.
Well, we thank you for coming by today and sharing time with us.
Thank you. I appreciate the invitation.
Generation after generation of Cambridge families have enjoyed the comfort of carpet as installed by Milfair Linoleum and Carpet. For 39 years, quality name brand carpet has been featured at competitive prices, and the installation service is unequaled. In addition to carpet, Milfair offers hard surface flooring, window treatments, wallpaper, sweepers, and carpet cleaning equipment. Depend on Milfair Linoleum and Carpet, 634 Steubenville Avenue, to meet the needs of this generation and the next.
I'm Brent Miller, and on behalf of all of us here at Milfair, I'd like to congratulate Two About Town for 30 years of service to this community. We at Milfair have been here 62 years. When my dad started this business back in 1949, and as you've seen, my children have grown up here, and we've made Cambridge part of our lives, and we know you have too. Welcome to Milfair at any time.
You don't need to buy a truck to get four-wheel drive. Here's an American Motors Eagle from Dunning Motors, and it has full-time four-wheel drive. Here's another. Looks good, doesn't it? And another. All with four-wheel drive for exceptional roadability in rain and mud, snow and ice. Two-wheel drive for ordinary driving and fuel efficiency. Enjoy four-wheel drive power in an Eagle that looks good from the inside out. Switch to an Eagle with four-wheel drive at Dunning Motors, Route 209 South.
Hi there, this is John Dunning from Dunning Motor Sales. It's funny how the more things change, the more they stay the same. Dunning Motor Sales is proud to have supported Guernsey County since my dad started the business in 1976 up through today.
In today's marketplace, you have many choices for insurance. WB Green Insurance, your independent insurance agents, are committed to providing you with excellent coverage for your home, auto, and business. They provide insurance products with knowledge and trust and have been in the neighborhood for over 130 years. At WB Green, get the right coverage on all your investments so you are protected from those unexpected mishaps. Anchor's Appliance is Cambridge's only appliance store. Choose from a large selection of appliances from Whirlpool, Maytag, Speed Queen, and Frigidaire. Their showroom is stocked full of freezers, refrigerators, ranges, dishwashers, microwaves, washers and dryers, and all the top-of-the-line Whirlpool appliances. At Anchor's, delivery and setup is free, and they haul away your old. They have built a reputation on reliable service and repairs. See for yourself what Anchor's Appliance has for you. Proud to be serving Cambridge since 1947.
And a final stop with I'm Worth It, and they also have magazines and no, not I'm Worth It. I'm sorry. I was at I'm Worth It this morning too. We're going to Olympic Books, and I guess I'm not worth much today. I can't remember.
And looking back at the happenings of Cable Channel 2 over the past 30 years, the first time that we did a live on the location program for Two About Town was probably 1982 when we went to the Salt Fork Arts and Crafts Festival. And that was a very special time for us. We'd go out and we'd tape it, and then they'd run it back to the studio and play it. And so Salt Fork Festival has played an important role in my life as well as Channel 2, and with our guest, Jack Taylor. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, glad to be here, especially honoring the 30th year.
I know.
And those Salt Fork Festival days were exciting.
I know. And
yeah, a lot of fun.
And, you know, Cable Channel 2 personnel have always been involved with the festival.
Sure. Well, Grant Halfley was very instrumental in helping to get the Salt Fork Festival to the status that it grew to. He was a major part. We see his influence around the community in many different things.
That's
really.
right.
Yeah, he and Pat have made a big impression in our community, I think. Yeah.
When I first started working with the Salt Fork Festival, it was as publicity writer, and then I transitioned into doing the entertainment, and the folks here at Channel 2 always did the sound, and so that's how I met Joel and Jenny and those people.
And those were really great years. I mean, the number of artists and craftsmen.
Yeah.
Over 200.
I know.
Yeah. It was.
And Grant was the director for 6 or 7 years, I think.
Quite a few years there at that time. Yeah, those were
225 artists that one year, remember?
Yeah,
and we
yeah,
had
it
to
was
spread out all over everything.
routed all over.
Who was
Great
your favorite
entertainment.
favorite artist?
Oh, well, Frederick Graff, you know, everybody enjoyed his work. And I don't know what he's doing, hasn't been back for a number of years. That's unfortunate. Virginia Price still comes back every year.
She was one of his students, I remember.
Is that right? Yeah, Lonnie Blakely.
He's from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Is that right?
Because I have his painting on my wall. And Jim
We have
Sechrest.
one. We have one.
Remember
sure.
Jim Sechrest from Woodsfield?
Down in Woodsfield area.
And
the fellow from Caldwell that had the clog dancer.
Bill Sailing.
Sailing, yeah.
And over the years, more and more people started festivals, and so ours got a little bit smaller over the years, but
yeah, I think
the quality's still there.
Right, yeah, the festival is still alive today, and I hope to see it continue to grow, but a lot of competition because many of the artists and craftsmen like to go to the malls, the shopping malls. They don't have to worry about the weather, the wind, the rain, and so forth, and so they can go inside and not have to worry about setting up and fighting the elements. But
another important role that you had in the 30 years of Channel 2 was your association with the hospital, and they were always very supportive of things that we were doing here.
Well, we had a lot of growth over those years, from the 70s clear up, still growing. But Dale Gottschall, you remember Dale Gottschall?
Dale,
he set a good plan in motion and got the two hospitals to join together here in this community, which was done way before it's vogue now for hospitals to merge together, but that was back in the late 60s. And we've seen a lot of changes out there at now Southeastern Med, when it was Guernsey Memorial Hospital. A lot of young folks now won't remember that it was called Guernsey Memorial Hospital because of the name change.
But old timers like us,
we remember those things. That's right.
And that's the whole purpose of our conversation today, to reminisce the 30 years that Channel 2 has been in existence and the part that they've played in Cambridge.
They've played an important part. I know I still watch Channel 2, especially when you're on. It's always fun to see who you might be interviewing or talking with, or what's going on about town.
Yeah,
and so it's a good time. Yeah, it really is.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today,
I'm glad to have come in and chatted with you again. Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the Cambridge plant of the National Cash Register Corporations, where today they wrote off the 500,000th point of service terminal.
NCR was a big part of the city of Cambridge and Guernsey County for quite a number of years, and it provided the major employment in the area. And they celebrated a milestone in the history of the plant, and we were there to record the activities. Over the years, Channel 2 tried different programming. Believe it or not, one time we had a newscast at noon, and our newscaster was Scott Roller.
Yes, ma'am.
So you made the transition from radio down to here?
Sure. When I started at the station in 1979 at this point, I had done primarily on-air work, the board shifts, jock shifts that a lot of people don't know exist anymore. But when Grant took over the operation, he was always wanting to try, and still does attempt to do, as many different things and things that hadn't been done previously. And one of those was a local newscast, television newscast. So during my time as a broadcaster / announcer / newscaster at the radio station, the idea came to be that we were going to do a 5-day-a-week noon newscast on Channel 2. So in the mornings when I finished my radio newscast, we would gather the scripts from the teletype at that time, the Associated Press, and whatever local news we'd garnered during the day, stack it all up, make a mad dash down College Hill to downtown to the Centrum, where all of us would kind of sit around and figure out what we wanted to do that day on the newscast, and if we knew enough in advance of some of the local information, Joel and John and various other staff members would be out gathering video, so we would actually have some video to accompany what I would be reading as a talking head in the newscast that day. And a lot of it came right down to the wire. I would be kind of reading along, and the next thing I would see would be either Joel or John possibly crawling in on their hands and knees with a note, holding it up saying, "We have the video now. Send it to us." Yeah. That was always comical. That and the fact that, you know, what folks saw on air was me in a jacket, shirt, and tie, the typical newscaster look, whereas it was probably like exactly how I was dressed today, from here up, shirt, tie, jacket, and from waist down, shorts and flip-flops. You never got to see that behind the news desk, so
who cared?
So who cared?
Yeah.
But that was kind of some of the funny stuff that went on behind the scenes. That and the mad scramble to get everything put together in a very short period of time and have it come off looking as respectable as it did. Well, that was something we always took pride in. It was never perfect. Nothing is ever perfect. But for the short period of time that we had to get everything brought together, it always seemed to work out.
But it's been fun.
It has. And it's always been a pleasure to work, because we used to precede your program, so that was always a pleasure and an honor.
That's good. Well, we thank you for coming by today to share in our look back at 30 years of TV2.
You're very welcome.
You were privileged over the years to see what Channel 2 could do, and they built their commercials for To About Town, but probably what you didn't know was that their video crew went out all around the state and sometimes out of the state to do production work, to build commercials and videotapes for businesses to promote their business, and so to get the word out, Joel put together a videotape, a demonstration tape that we would take out to use on sales calls, and this is what our production studio was all about. back to continue our program after a short commercial break, but before we see today's commercial, we want you to take a look at something that aired several years ago here on TV2.
Orm Hardware's service spans the seasons. For the good old summertime and to keep your lawn manicure fresh, a vast selection of mowers. Quality names, including Lawn Boy. Buy a basic model or one with your choice of labor-saving attachments. Also available, weed eaters. Ask for a demonstration. The best in tools, ortho, pest, and weed control products, home beautification supplies, and of course, good advice for lawn and garden care comes from Orm Hardware, 134 North 11th Street in Cambridge.
Flowers show you care. Any day, every day. Jones Flowers delivers the freshest, finest floral arrangements. Remember a birthday or anniversary. Say, I'm sorry, you are special, or make holidays unforgettable. Choose Florifax, FTD, or Telefloral designs for across-the-country delivery. Happiness is just a phone call away.
Good afternoon, Jones Flowers. Marty, may I help you?
Guernsey Savings, located at 845 Wheeling Avenue in Cambridge, provides a full field of financial services for their friends and customers. We urge you, if you have any savings or loan problem, to come to Guernsey, located 845 Wheeling Avenue. They also urge you to watch the television returns of the Tuesday general election beginning at 9 o'clock on Tuesday evening, November the 5th. Make sure you see it right here, beginning at 9 o'clock on Tuesday evening.
What's special about Century 21 agents? It's all about focus and persistence and staging assistance. They're some kind of hybrid bear bulldog breed crossed with all kinds of tough animals that are stubborn about achieving their objectives, which in this case is selling your home. They're part rainmaker, part sunshine maker, which seem like opposing forces, yet somehow they make it work. They have the sentimentality and warmth of a greeting card and the amazing analyzing power of an industrial strength computer, like that big computer that beat that Russian guy in chess that one time. This is who they are. This is what they do. Century 21 agents. Smarter, bolder, faster.
That's where we were then. This is where we are now. Thank you, Laura, for 30 wonderful years.
Orm Hardware, the leading hardware in the area, wants to invite you to visit one of their many locations to help with your next project. Orm's has everything you'd expect from a full-service hardware store, with all sizes of stainless steel nuts and bolts, a large variety of automotive accessories, polishes and waxes, a terrific selection of power tools and hand tools, and even a complete tool rental center. Orm Hardware now has 6 locations to serve you, including the newest in Newark. Stop in and say hello.
I'm Dave Ogle of Scott Ogle Realty. I'm proud to be a part of TV2 and 2 About Town. Been in business here since 1974. A lot has changed with real estate since those 37 years have gone by. I look forward to doing business with Cambridge and thank the people of Cambridge for all that they've provided me.
Nearly half of all Americans are suffering from recent or chronic pain. I'm Shannon Harbaugh, physical therapist. We are well equipped to assist physicians in not only treating pain, but also finding the source of pain. Southeastern Med's physical therapy team is highly qualified to treat pain resulting from arthritis, back injuries, muscle strains, post-surgical recoveries, and migraines. Call to see how you can benefit from physical therapy.
And here we have Cracker Jacks. $3.88 gets you 12 boxes, and it's supposed to be full. Is that right? Who took the other ones? Boy, somebody ate more than I thought. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've eaten 6 boxes already of those. Well, it's a good buy, and they're good, and they have little cards that go along with them. See the little cards? Little baseball cards, mini baseball cards. There's 24 of them, so you can have to get 2 boxes so you get all the cards. Central Pharmacy down.
Not every day at Channel 2 was a happy event, and not everything that happened in the community was something that was enjoyable, but this event was a memorable one. We lost one of our most beloved policemen, and we want to share with you this memorial. It was his service, and I think that you'll find that the hearts of Cambridge were with the family and the community on this very special day. In memoriam for Jerry Drageson.
It all started Tuesday evening, August 21st, 1984, and on the morning after, Cambridge Chief of Police Frank Stroud describes the incident.
You all know yesterday evening at approximately 7:30, we had a shooting just outside the entrance to the Cambridge Police Department. Lieutenant Jerry Drageson was fatally wounded. He was 34. Jerry, he's just a hard guy to describe. He was quiet, very conscientious. He'd been here since 1972. I doubt if he'd missed a week's work in that period of time. Just having a little trouble.
Black bands of mourning and flags at half-mast help express the sorrow felt by the many men, women, and children who knew him. The community mourns the loss of a special friend. The Cambridge Police Department grieves for a fellow officer. The family has lost a son, brother, husband, and father. In memoriam for Lieutenant Jerry Drageson, who gave his life this week in the line of duty for the Cambridge Police Department.
So there you have it, 30 years of looking back at things that happened here at TV2. We hope you've enjoyed our delving into the past archives of videotape and memories to share with you the things that made life a little bit different in the Cambridge area. Over the years, you have people who have done something for you at that time that you really don't think much about, but then as you look back and you think, now that because of what this person did, I am where I am today. And I think that's what this retrospect is all about. What we did way back in 1981 up till today has been a basis for what you're going to see in the future from Cable Channel 2 to give the community a look at themselves, to highlight the good things that are happening, and to inspire others to do things that will benefit their friends and neighbors.
The Shoppers Basket portion of the show, our announcements, our guests for today, and in fact, our final show for you from the Centrum at 920 Steubenville Avenue.
We thank all the folks here at the Moose Lodge for allowing us to come back to what was the Centrum and spend a day here with them. And we thank all the folks at TV2 for their help in getting this all together. And if it was a Friday and I was on Two About Town, I would say have yourself a good weekend and don't forget church on Sunday.
About town, let us show you around to about town. Take a look and see what can be found. Listen to the sound and welcome to our world. To about town, to about town. Listen along with me. To about town. To about town, yeah.
To do. Let's get to Cambridge Classic Ford in downtown Cambridge. Open Saturdays till 5.
When it's time to replace your tires, think of Buckeye Tire and Service. Buckeye Tire and Service carries all major brands of tires for auto, trucks, and farm equipment. They offer front-end alignments, brakes, shocks, struts, as well as emergency road service. The friendly staff will get you the right tires and care for all of your vehicles. Stop in and see John and Monty at Buckeye Tire and Service.
Generation after generation of Cambridge families have enjoyed the comfort of carpet as installed by Milfair Linoleum and Carpet. For 39 years, quality name brand carpet has been featured at competitive prices, and the installation service is unequaled. In addition to carpet, Milfair offers hard surface flooring, window treatments, wallpaper, sweepers, and carpet cleaning equipment. Depend on Milfair Linoleum and Carpet, 634 Steubenville Avenue, to meet the needs of this generation and the next.
I'm Brent Miller, and on behalf of all of us here at Milfair, I'd like to congratulate Two About Town for 30 years of service to this community. We at Milfair have been here 62 years. When my dad started this business back in 1949, and as you've seen, my children have grown up here, and we've made Cambridge part of our lives, and we know you have too. Welcome to Milfair at any time. Thank you.
You don't need to buy a truck to get four-wheel drive. Here's an American Motors Eagle from Dunning Motors, and it has full-time four-wheel drive. Here's another. Looks good, doesn't it? And another. All with four-wheel drive for exceptional roadability in rain and mud, snow and ice. Two-wheel drive for ordinary driving and fuel efficiency. Enjoy four-wheel drive power in an Eagle that looks good from the inside out. Switch to an Eagle with four-wheel drive at Dunning Motors, Route 209 South.
Hi there, this is John Dunning from Dunning Motor Sales. It's funny how the more things change, the more they stay the same. Dunning Motor Sales is proud to have supported Guernsey County since my dad started the business in 1976 up through today.
In today's marketplace, you have many choices for insurance. WB Green Insurance, your independent insurance agents, are committed to providing you with excellent coverage for your home, auto, and business. They provide insurance products with knowledge and trust and have been in the neighborhood for over 130 years. At WB Green, get the right coverage on all your investments so you are protected from those unexpected mishaps. Anchor's Appliance is Cambridge's only appliance store. Choose from a large selection of appliances from Whirlpool, Maytag, Speed Queen, and Frigidaire. Their showroom is stocked full of freezers, refrigerators, ranges, dishwashers, microwaves, washers and dryers, and all the top-of-the-line Whirlpool appliances. At Anchor's, delivery and setup is free, and they haul away your old. They have built a reputation on reliable service and repairs. See for yourself what Anchor's Appliance has for you. Proud to be serving Cambridge since 1947.
As part of the 30th anniversary celebration of TV2, we wanted to share with you some of the things that we did outside of the program, Two About Town, one of which was making a tourism video to be used at Salt Fork Lodge. And that's for the people who came in so they would get an idea of what there was to see in the Cambridge area. And so we'd like for you to sit back, relax, and take a look at what Cambridge was like then and compare it to what we're like now. I think you're going to enjoy it.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? All those nights when you've got no lights, the check is in the mail, and your little angel hung the cat up by its tail, and your third fiance didn't show. Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name, where everybody knows your name.
Experience the spirit of Ohio in the rolling hills of southeastern Ohio. Welcome to Cambridge, Guernsey County. We wish you happy times as you explore the fascinating attractions in our area.
In the next few minutes, we'll take you into the glittering world of glass as we visit the spatial manufacturing sites and the unusual glass museums. We'll spend time at the shopping sites in the community, point out the many historical attractions, and of course, make suggestions for mealtime adventures.
Happy birthday to you.
1987 is the 150th birthday of the incorporation of the city of Cambridge, but the county was formed in 1810 and named in honor of the settlers from the Isle of Guernsey. The warmth of the past is conveyed today by friendly families who greet newcomers and visitors with a quick smile and a warm handshake. Come, let's explore the area that lies north, south, east, and west of the I-70, I-77 intersection, the largest interchange in the world.
Nestled among the rolling hills of southeastern Ohio is Salt Fork Park. Enjoy a variety of water sports, take a hike, relax on a family vacation, schedule a business meeting or convention, or simply enjoy a delicious meal. Salt Fork Park and Lodge makes every visit extra nice with a good measure of country hospitality.
Say hello to a shopping excursion as you explore the downtown area of Cambridge. Pleasant shopping and pleasant shop is the overall theme of the association, designed to provide quality, selection, and a good neighbor atmosphere. There are dozens of stores with specialty items in the downtown area, and you'll find a cordial greeting at each and every one. If you're a homespun country fan, please stop in at the Townhouse. The colorful collection includes a bit of everything, from folk art items to antique reproductions. The Townhouse is in the immediate downtown section at 628 Wheeling Avenue. Out of cash? Don't despair. Your Bank One Jubilee card can be used at the Jubilee machine at Bank One of Cambridge, just east of the Guernsey County Courthouse. Or maybe you want to go on a country picnic or need a midnight snack. Convenient Food Mart, 256 Highland Avenue on Route 22, is open 7 days a week with a complete line of groceries and all legal beverages at state minimum prices.
The historical section of Cambridge is centered around the massive stone courthouse. Immediately to the north is the Guernsey County Public Library, where visitors find one of the most comprehensive genealogy research libraries in the state. A stop at the Guernsey County Museum at 218 North A Street will give you a wider peek into the past history of the area. The Hall of Fame room and the John H. Glenn Jr. bedroom are two special exhibits available for viewing every summer Sunday afternoon. Millfair Linoleum and Carpet, 634 Steubenville Avenue, recommends this historic stop.
If it's your appetite you're wanting to satisfy, the area offers a variety of foods. Eat in your car or the dining room at Mr. Lee's, 2000 East Wheeling Avenue. It's the home of Mexican sopapillas, pizza burgers, homemade onion rings, and fresh strawberry shortcake. Look for the Golden Arches as you travel south on Interstate 77 and take exit 46 for all your favorite foods at McDonald's. McDonald's East is at the entrance of the downtown shopping area and is open 24 hours a day. McDonald's South on Southgate Parkway is in the midst of a shopping complex that leads to Interstate 70. Make a date for McDonald's at either of these conveniently located restaurants. You never know who you're going to meet when you stop for the good taste of McDonald's in Cambridge. To satisfy your hunger for Chinese food, stop at the House of Hunan, just off Interstate 77 at 2400 East Wheeling Avenue. The Noon Buffet offers a variety of expertly prepared Chinese delights, and you can eat until you're satisfied. In the evening or on Sunday, the home cooking country style of the House of Hunan features artfully designed platters of pork, chicken, beef, and seafood. We highly recommend the House of Hunan for Chinese food at its best and service that is unequaled in the area.
For more than 50 years, the Cambridge Glass Company produced an extensive variety of glass that has become highly collectible since the company closed in the 50s. The building is now being renovated, and future plans include a living glass museum. The Glass House Incorporated is open for guided tours. To examine and study genuine handmade Cambridge glass, visit the National Cambridge Collectors Museum of Cambridge Glass on Route 40 east of I-77 at exit 46. The museum is open Wednesday through Sunday, March through October. At 422 South 9th Street, Judy's Antiques specializes in Cambridge glass and other treasures in china, jewelry, and furniture, or pick up a handmade quilt at Judy's. Across the street is the Cambridge Glass Museum, where the world's largest collection of Cambridge glass and art pottery is displayed. Nearby is Guernsey Glass at 609 South East Street. In addition to the fine crystal that is known worldwide as Cambridge Glass, our area claims three other distinguished names in glass: Mosser, Boyd, and Degenhardt. At the intersection of I-77 and Route 22, near the Tourist Bureau Log Cabin, is Degenhardt Paperweight and Glass Museum on Highland Hills Road. See the personal collection of glassware and paperweights by Elizabeth Degenhardt, named by Ohio's governor in 1975 as the First Lady of Glass. In the same area is Mosser Glass Company Incorporated. A tour through the plant shows the skilled glass workers handcrafting functional and decorative glass. Free tours from 8 until 3:15, Monday through Friday. The showroom is open till 4. It's easy to get to Mosser Glass Incorporated, just 1/2 mile west of I-77 on State Route 22. Boyd's Crystal Art Glass, 1203 Morton Avenue, produces novelties that are distributed on an international basis. One of the newest collectibles is Fuzzy the Bear. Tours are welcome at Boyd's Crystal Art Glass. just south of Wheeling Avenue at 1203 Morton Avenue.
From late June until Labor Day, Guernsey County welcomes thousands of visitors to Ohio's only outdoor passion play, The Living Word. This moving drama depicts 24 major events in the life of Christ. Authentically styled scenery and live animals bring to life this dramatic production in an amphitheater just west of the city off Route 209. Complimentary tours and a musical concert are offered prior to the 8:30 show.
Cambridge is known throughout the region for the annual Salt Fork Festival the second weekend in August at the Cambridge City Park. It's a 3-day admission-free event that features over 200 artists and craftspersons exhibiting and demonstrating their skill. It's an exciting happening, highly recommended for your enjoyment by Classic Ford Lincoln Mercury, 1023 Wheeling Avenue, Cambridge, offering car rental at daily, weekly, and monthly rates. Call for information from Classic.
In the northern section of the city of Cambridge, you'll find shopping choices at the North Star Center. A full line of drugstore products and prescription service can be found at Central Pharmacy. At Better Health Naturally, buy natural foods, herbal teas, and a variety of vitamins, minerals, and food supplements.
The finest medical services are available at Guernsey Memorial Hospital. The 24-hour physician-staffed emergency room provides peace of mind to area residents, out-of-town visitors, and travelers. Concern about the community and the people they serve is foremost in the minds of the professionals at Guernsey Memorial Hospital.
While in the northern section of the city, take a drive around the Cambridge City Park and watch community-planned activities, or leisurely walk through the picturesque park. In addition to the warm welcome at area attractions and businesses, over 100 congregations extend a warm welcome to residents and visitors for weekend services.
Dunning Motor Sales, the Chevrolet headquarters of the area, is on Route 209 South in the midst of a heavily populated industrial area which unites the Cambridge and Byesville areas, both progressive communities offering an abundance of products and services. The Byesville community recognizes the founder of the town with Jonathan By Days each year in early June. For further information concerning any of the attractions in the area, we suggest a visit to the Chamber of Commerce office at 910 Wheeling Avenue or to one of the two tourist centers, a log cabin near Interstate 77 on Route 22 and a Southgate Parkway location offer brochures, maps, and directions to local sites.
Or turn on your radio for up-to-the-minute information concerning local events. You have your choice of music. Lively adult contemporary hits come from WCMJ at 96.7 on your FM dial. The country sound is featured on WILE at 1270 AM. Both stations provide community information, news, sports, and weather every hour. This is Cambridge, Guernsey County. Whatever your reason for being in this area, we thank you for coming and wish you a most memorable experience.